And organisations like the World Business Council for Sustainable Development are the ones who are facilitating this entire thing. So I'll tell you a little bit about them. So I'll tell you who their members are. Their president, the head of climate for World Business Council for Sustainable Development, is a woman called Claire O'Neill. Does anyone know who Claire O'Neill is? Or what she used to be called before being married? No, she was called Claire Perry. Does that ring any bells? So she used to be the COP26 president. She used to be the person in place of Alok Sharma. And last year, I don't know if she quit her job, she lost her job. She was involved in a few lobbying scandals. But after leaving her job, no longer being a minister for the UK government, she went through what's called the revolving door and took up a position immediately with industry. And now here she is. Boo! What do you think of Claire Perry? Ooh, Claire. You could have done so much better, but you're a Tory sellout. So what happened? She went and worked for the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. And what's she doing there? She's using her lovely little black book, all the contacts she built up whilst being a minister, on behalf of the biggest climate criminals here in Glasgow. She's making sure that rather than the public interest, rather than all of our interests are being served by tackling climate change, by making sure fossil fuels stay in the ground, she's talking to her ex-colleagues. She's bringing in the interests of BP and Shell to her ex-colleagues and making sure they're setting the agenda, quite literally. So we did a bit of research today that showed that at COP26, there are more than 500 fossil fuel lobbyists. Pretty big. And the World Business Council for Sustainable Development brought in 15 of them. On its list, it brought in oil and gas company BP. What do you think of BP? Oil and gas company Shell. What do you think of Shell? Shell behind the Cambo oil fields. Shall we forget? It brought in French energy company Total. What do you think of Total? Brought in Italian dirt energy company Enel. What do you think of Enel? It brought in Norwegian state oil and gas company Equinor. What do you think of Equinor? And to be clear, Equinor here in Scotland and in the north of England is building new gas-fired power plants with this crazy technology that doesn't yet exist, highly expensive, highly experimental, with carbon capture and storage. It wants to capture carbon from power plants to pump into its oil fields in the North Sea to increase oil production. So that's what Equinor is in here at COP26 doing, thanks to the World Business Council on Sustainable Development. What do you think of Equinor? They're pretty bad. So that's who's in here. And they're not just here doing nothing. When we say they're inside, they're really inside. So there was an event organised by the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. It's in there, it has its own pavilion, its own space, where it's able to put on events, bring in ministers to come and sit at its events, negotiators, promote its agenda. And at one of its events last week, it had BP. And what did BP say? BP said, we're not involved enough in the climate negotiations. We need BP and all of its friends as far away from these climate talks as possible. Why have we not got anywhere? Because they're inside. Why are we not going to get anywhere? Because they're still inside. So we need to kick them out. So when I say kick them, you say out. Kick them, out. Kick them, out. Kick them, out. What do we want?